All right, so welcome climate leaders to our first leadership skill training session. We're really excited to have you all here to learn about public speaking. And I'm really excited to introduce Tanisha Raj, who is from Catholic Charities, and will be presenting today's training session. So Tanisha, if you want to just move a little closer to the microphone so we can get started.
Let me just hop over here.
All right, so we'll go to the next.
Oh yeah, no, I was gonna start off. Good evening, everybody, and hope you guys had a wonderful day today, even though it's really hot. So today's topic is persuasive public speaking. What is your guys' idea or knowledge about persuasive public speaking?
I'll say I really have to have like a wide vocabulary knowledge.
Okay, so wide vocabulary knowledge. That's what Damarie says. Anyone else have any?
To present yourself with a lot of knowledge on your topic.
Okay, a lot of knowledge on topic.
To know your audience, to know like really what you're talking about.
Okay, knowing your audience and knowing. Anyone else?
Speak clearly.
All right, speaking clearly.
You have something? Oh, okay.
Ooh, all righty. So he's
Yes,
going above and beyond.
I mean, you
All
have
right.
to know about it if you're running for council.
So we'll go ahead and then go to the next slide. Then.
Yes, please.
All right, first we'll take our group picture. So everybody just.
Do a selfie, so you're in it too.
Oh, I do not. Okay, you know how to- All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay.
All right.
Alrighty, so we kind of started a little bit about the reviewing of public speaking, so I'll just kind of.
So all of you guys had a little bit of the right ideas, and so you know the definition of persuasive public speaking is a specific type of speech in which the speaker has a goal of persuading the audience to accept his or her point of view. And by the time you're done with the speech, your goal is that you want your listeners to do something or think of something other than what they started with. Like, you know, you want them coming in with one perspective and leaving the door with your perspective.
I think that part is very key. Your perspective that you're trying to get through.
So what are the components of persuasive public speaking, or just speaking in general? I know you mentioned some.
Those Pathos logos.
Yes.
Sorry, I kind of spoiled it a little. Well, he already said it.
Yeah.
So.
So what do you guys think is ethos? I'm sorry. Credibility, yes. So it is more than a credibility. It is, yes, it is credibility, but it's also the characteristics of the speaker. You know, you want your audience to be, you want the speaker to be knowledgeable and also, you know, have that credibility, as you mentioned, and also the characteristic. You don't want somebody who already has a shady character, and you know, have them speaking up on the stage. Nobody's going to believe them. So you have to have credibility, characteristics, and you know, the knowledge.
I think one example we could use is, for example, you know, let's take like a Democratic convention. You know, they're not going to invite, you know, Tucker Carlson from Fox News, or vice versa. The Republican Party convention is not going to invite Rachel Maddow to their convention based on just, if we're going to be talking about ethos, like they lack credibility in those audiences, their respective audiences. So they, you know, you want to make sure that you know your audience and establish that credibility with them.
All right, what is logos? Logos. How are you guys pronounce it?
Knowledge, using knowledge, data.
Yeah.
Yes, so it is logical appeals, which is backed by the information of data-driven. That is correct. And so the next component is pathos. What do you guys think that is?
Ease one's feelings.
Yeah, exactly. So the main component, and I think this is the main component, is to reach the audience, is to engage with them, it's to drive up their emotions. So that way they feel like, you know, you're understanding what they're here for. Okay, so what are the components of the speech? Like, what are the nonverbal components?
Your hands.
Yes,
Yeah, like
body language.
Yeah, body language.
yes, which is very important. Yes, so it's very important to realize these aspects is to, you know, in order for the audience to engage, it's, you know, your hand movement, your body posture, your eye contact, and, you know, the tone of the voice. You don't want to be a monotonic speaker, you know, where you're like a dead speaker in one voice. You want to have excitement, you want to have sadness, and that's where the, you know, pathological component comes in. It's like, you know, you want to show your emotions. Okay, and what are the speaking components, you guys think?
Saying your facts.
So like, of the whole speech, what do you think the speech is composed of?
Oh, intro, body, and
Conclusion, yes, exactly. So you want to start the speech with the introduction, which would be your attention grabber. You know, that's the purpose. And you have to figure out how do you want to grasp your audience attention. And that would be depending on their education level, you know, their interest level and their age level. So you can't go into a speaking event where you're speaking to kids, but you're using a lot of technical terms. You know, what are they going to understand?
no, they might. No, today's kids, they might understand that.
Honestly speaking, well, let's not talk about that. We'll talk about that later.
You might go to an older group and talk technical. They're like, well, I remember the typewriter.
Yeah, so the attention grabber is where you start of the story. It's the start of the story. You know, you might start it with like stating a story, stating facts, that's like, you know, statistics based off data and stuff like that. Or you can start off your presentation by asking a rhetorical question. You know, basically any strategy that would get the audience attention. And then you would convey your main point, which is, you know, why? Why are you here to speak? What's the point? What's your motive? What's in it for them, not just you? Because I think that's the key component. It's like, you know, what are you giving them? Because if it's only about, you know, me as a presenter, I don't think people would want to listen to me.
Mm.
Yeah. And then after that, it's conclusion, you know, tying everything. So we're just gonna watch a little video.
3 people are at a dinner party. Oh, because of TV.
Maybe.
All right, hold on. Sorry, but now it's an actual technical difficulty. There we go. So let's see. Okay. We may just need to play it on, or like have it play on yours as well.
Sure.
But let's still have it play on here, just because like the sound will probably be captured.
Yes.
All right, so tell me when to play.
Go.
All right, go.
Oh.
People are at a dinner party. Paul, who's married, is looking at Linda. Meanwhile, Linda is looking at John, who's not married. Is someone who's married looking at someone who's not married? Take a moment to think about it. Most people answer that there's not enough information to tell, and most people are wrong. Linda must be either married or not married. There are no other options. So in either scenario, someone married is looking at someone who's not married. When presented with the explanation, most people change their minds and accept the correct answer, despite being very confident in their first responses. Now let's look at another case. A 2005 study by Brendan Nyan and Jason Reifler examined American attitudes regarding the justifications for the Iraq War. Researchers presented participants with a news article that showed that no weapons of mass destruction had been found. Yet many participants not only continued to believe that WMDs had been found, but they even became more convinced of their original views. So why do arguments change people's minds in some cases and backfire in others? Arguments are more convincing when they rest on a good knowledge of the audience, taking into account what the audience believes, who they trust, and what they value. Mathematical and logical arguments like the dinner party brain teaser work because even when people reach different conclusions, they're starting from the same set of shared beliefs. In 1931, a young unknown mathematician named Kurt Gödel presented a proof that a logically complete system of mathematics was impossible. Despite upending decades of work by brilliant mathematicians like Bertrand Russell and David Hilbert, the proof was accepted because it relied on axioms that everyone in the field already agreed on. Of course, many disagreements involve different beliefs that can't simply be reconciled through logic. When these beliefs involve outside information, the issue often comes down to what sources and authorities people trust. One study asked people to estimate several statistics related to the scope of climate change. Participants were asked questions such as, how many of the years between 1995 and 2006 were one of the hottest 12 years since 1850? After providing their answers, they were presented with data from the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, in this case showing that the answer was 11 of the 12 years. Being provided with these reliable statistics from a trusted official source made people more likely to accept the reality that the Earth is warming. Finally, for disagreements that can't be definitively settled with statistics or evidence, making a convincing argument may depend on engaging the audience's values. For example, researchers have conducted a number of studies where they've asked people of different political backgrounds to rank their values. Liberals in these studies, on average, rank fairness, here meaning whether everyone is treated in the same way, above loyalty. In later studies, researchers attempted to convince liberals to support military spending with a variety of arguments. Arguments based on fairness, like that the military provides employment and education to people from disadvantaged backgrounds, were more convincing than arguments based on loyalty, such as that the military unifies a nation. These three elements, beliefs, trusted sources, and values, may seem like a simple formula for finding agreement and consensus. The problem is that our initial inclination is to think of arguments that rely on our own beliefs, trusted sources, and values. And even when we don't, it can be challenging to correctly identify what's held dear by people who don't already agree with us. The best way to find out is simply to talk to them. In the course of discussion, you'll be exposed to counter-arguments and rebuttals. These can help you make your own arguments and reasoning more convincing. And sometimes you may even end up being the one changing your mind. Want to polish up your communication skills? Check out these lessons for more helpful tips.
All right.
So this is the activity for today, but before you guys participate, I'm gonna do a speech that I did for my speech class last summer. And then I want you guys to critique me on the delivery of my speech. And I'm gonna make mistakes on purpose, so I wanna see how, if you guys are able to.
It's probably like there's no mistakes.
There'll be plenty. And then, once you guys talk about it, and after that, I'm gonna discuss what I did purposely wrong. So you grab your phone to check some notifications. You open up one notification and notice a Family Feud going on. All of a sudden, you're 6 hours deep into watching the life story of a random person you don't even know arguing over a silly thing. The withdrawals of this addiction are far worse than of a drug user, and it is none other than, what do you guys think it is? Precise, more precise.
Text message.
Social media.
Social media.
Social media. Okay, so my proposed topic is a positive the side effects of social media. Often we always focus on the negative aspects of anything, especially when it comes to social media. What do you guys think are the negative aspects of social media?
False information.
What'd you say?
False information.
Too much time.
You're gonna start speaking louder. Any more?
It's time consuming garbage.
Yeah, I
Okay.
would say constant entertainment.
Okay. Anything else?
Like people introducing very harmful ideas.
Yeah. Well, do you think it has any positive side effects?
Yeah, I get to talk to one of my friends, a couple of my friends in Hawaii. I get to talk to my son's girlfriend in Austria. I mean, it has some good things about it.
So, however, every pro has a con, every negative side has a positive side. It is true that we are presented with false beauty standards, unrealistic expectations of relationships, and superficial lifestyle, along with hate speech, hurtful comments, and a lot of other, like you guys mentioned, false information and, time consuming or time wasting, unproductivity. But there are also positive sides as well. Like you mentioned, you have friends. And so, you get the opportunity to interact with some of the amazing people that sometimes you would never even think about meeting in person. How often is it that you would meet somebody across the world? What are the chances of that, right? You never know like who you can come across that can be like a really good virtual friend where you can, have some special bondage with. And that is one of those positive side effects. Other positive effects is that, there are pages that bring up mental awareness, and you mentioned it, so, you mentioned it, sorry. Yeah, so, there are pages that help you with the mental awareness. There are pages that help you with your personal development. There are pages that, bring education information and all that. And then also, like I said, and then there are other pages that you can come across that are like resourceful, that teach you cooking, that teach you crafts and knowledge of something that you didn't even know existed. Like for me, like I'm a TikTok user. I used to hate it at first, but now I changed my mind on it. And there are like so many things I learned off of TikTok that I didn't learn in real life. One of the main things that I always use an example is eating the banana. So how we always peel it from the top with the stem on the top, but TikTok changed my mind. So now I hold it from the bottom, from the stem, and then peel it so my hands don't get dirty. Yes. And another thing that I learned is, when you put in the trash liner, you don't it's already inside out. So all you gotta do is just put it over the opening and then, push it down. So, so everything has a negative and positive side effect to it, but it all depends on how you use it, how you engage with it. I mean, if you're gonna engage with it in a negative way, obviously you're gonna come across negative things. But if you engage with it in a positive way, I think it's an amazing thing. All right, and that's it. So what do you guys think?
You did your grabber, you did your information, and then you did your conclusion.
Mhm.
you pulled your hair and threw it on the floor.
Yes.
I'm like,
You went off on
I'm shedding like a dog. Summertime.
the winter coat.
Okay.
You engaged your audience.
Uh-huh.
I liked it because you did show more positive than what a lot of people say is negative. I mean, there is a lot of negative, but then I do a lot of good stuff on it. you
Yeah,
know.
it all depends on
I
how
don't
you engage
report
with
the
it.
nasty stuff. I'm not sexual nasty, just,
Yeah.
dead dogs running in the market, you
Yeah.
know.
Like I said, it's all depends on you, how you engage with it and how you want to use it.
Right,
Yeah.
right. No, I think it depends on the human being, what they do with their social media,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah.
Because I don't let propaganda get to me.
So some of the bad things that I did with my presentation was one that I didn't memorize it, even though I did present it last year. So you don't want to look at your notes consistently. You want to look at the audience. Another thing is that if you guys noticed, I walk back and forth a lot. And that's something you don't want to do. And that's why body language is really important. It's okay to walk and it's okay to cover the stage, but you don't want to do it all the time. You want to do it in a strategic way where it looks natural and you're not distracting the audience by pacing back and forth. But the positive things that I did with the speech was, the audience engagement, the attention grabber, use of hand, the fluctuation of my tone, and making jokes, having you guys engage, by asking questions. All right, so now it's your guys' turn.
And you didn't say,
I'm holding.
and you didn't say, yes, you didn't say those words that people get stuck on saying. Because every time when I listen to some speakers, I went to Toastmasters and you listen to some speakers and every few words is, you're like going, did you not learn what you're supposed to be talking about?
And I think one thing I did forget to mention is the rate at which you're speaking. You don't want to talk too slow. You don't want to talk too fast. It has to be a consistent rate.
Right.
But yeah, other than that, there's a lot more that can be covered, but unfortunately to time constraints. So, if you guys are more interested,
So we
as
got,
always, social media to the positive side effects, YouTube it, Yeah, and especially you, since you want to run for city council.
oh, wait, you gotta take some Toastmasters class, you got to develop. Are you shy with that year?
No, just be quiet.
He's quiet. He's an observer.
City council can't be observers, they gotta be action people. You said we gotta pull something out of a,
Yes,
Well,
right there.
can we have a few minutes to look at our
Of
topic?
course. It can't be like,
Gotta grab her.
yeah, so. Right. You guys can grab a topic and then we'll give you a few minutes to prepare and then.
No, wait, okay, I was gonna say, if you're gonna grab one, I wanna turn it this way so you can't see which one you want.
I'll be learning. Okay.
No, we're gonna study them. We gotta be able to see what we got.
That's fine. Yeah, it doesn't have to be anything narrow. It's just the practice of, you being comfortable enough to speak in front of people.
So what kind of, oh wait.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, never mind, I didn't know this was a speech. I was
Yeah.
gonna ask if we're gonna do a speech, but-
I don't think the topics are necessarily persuasive, but it's just the,
It's just two. Oh, no, it's just one. Okay. Mine's also very broad. You should have said, yeah. Do we tell each other ours or after?
I need a grabber. Grabber.
I guess you can take 5 minutes each. Yeah, so at 5:40.
Okay. I think everybody.
Did it?
Only two speeches?
Do we like combine them?
I think let's just wait.
Well, let's just start off with one and then see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be like, I think that due to time constraints, we should stick with one speech.
And I think if you guys want to do like a persuasive speech and towards the end of the training session, like, you know, when this climate leader
Yeah.
training thing is over, you guys can present on a topic of your choice. Yeah.
I'm excited to see.
As an exit speech. And don't stress about it. It's just have fun with it. And, you know, we're not, you know, it's just a practice.
When your critique ends up longer than your speech, there's no fun in it. It's like, okay.
No, that's it. Don't worry about it. This is just practice. Yeah. It will critique you more on the last speech.
I want a pencil and pen.
I have one. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Darn it, everybody missed out on the fun presentation and, you know,
Do you
the
have a piece of paper? you
fun
can
training
put out
session
there,
this week.
Roxanne? Yeah, or is that asked?
You'll have to do this.
That's fine. You didn't have to be nice, the speaker been all ripped up.
I'll do it.
And you know, I think this is like a really useful life skill to have. It's like, you know, speaking is just not, you know, getting in front of a group, a crowd and, you know, trying to get your point across. Speaking helps in like daily communications. Trying to convince your parents to do something that they won't agree to. Let me give you the statistics behind this, why this would be beneficial. One of the speeches that I gave for my class last semester, last year in for summer semester, I improvised it on the spot. Nobody even knew it. One more minute. It is a-
Or do you need a minute? Or do you need a minute? Minute or something?
Doing their own speech.
Oh,
Yeah.
I did multiple. Or like, no, and like they all get one topic, but their topics are all different.
Oh, okay.
And like we had them do multiple topics. Which is all nice.
Yeah. I'll read
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if you wanted two or one.
That'll be on our potluck. All right. So we are back from a little break. The kind of leaders have taken the time to write a little speech on certain topics. We'll go ahead and just start off. Why don't we have just to get you all comfortable as well? I know it's gonna feel very weird or anxiety ridden, but this is a safe space. So why don't whoever's speaking stand and deliver the speech?
And the first step is.
Because otherwise, if you're just sitting at the table, you're just reading, and there's a difference with reading versus and
you
delivering.
should have been a teacher.
I've thought about that, but
You're real mindful of a lot of the elements of whatever you're involved with.
Teacher professor sees and stuff.
It's okay. I will. Anyways, so why don't we start with Pat's?
I think the first step should be nominating yourself. Like
You're
who's,
right.
you know, who's bold and brave enough to go first.
Oh, all right, let's go.
Yay! Cross 50% of the threshold.
Alrighty, just I'd also say, like, since the folks don't have a camera, to introduce yourself as well.
Okay, everybody. Hello, my name is Christina Pacheco. I'm really excited to be here, and this is a really cool activity. So like one of the best we had. So I'm so excited to deliver this. Water, one of the biggest wonders of the world. Everybody uses it every single day, for every activity, from the start of your day to the end of your day. We use it for necessities that we really need to do, and others more for like pleasure and things like that. There are many ways I use water myself, from planting my, from watering my trees, my plants, all of that kind of stuff. From the moment I brush my teeth and wash my face, from when I come back home when I'm so tired, a refreshing shower is all I need just to get my night perfectly ended. And all of this from climate change is really impacting me, because why aren't we more worried about all this drought that's happening? Why are we not more worried of all the things that are happening in our community, not only in our community, but in the world? When something so vital to our living is put into, that something, it could be stopped. From the things that I know, water is very important. What do you guys use water for?
Everything.
What is the most, obviously drinking, right? But what is something that you use water for that maybe you could stop doing? What are some different?
Can't stop bathing. Can't
Yeah.
stop drinking it.
You may not stop bathing, but you can limit the time of bathing. And you
Some-
can limit the amount of water that you're running while you're applying soap.
Some things that I have done to stop all this, to stop, myself from thinking, oh, I'm wasting so much water, I'm doing all of this, is reusing each water I use. When I wash my dishes, I try to use all that dirty water. I know it sounds disgusting, but I try to reuse it to water my plants. My plants could take any water, so it's fine.
You're like, "I'm not dead yet."
They'll survive. So that's something I continue to use. I shower, maybe like 5-minute showers. That's something I try to do. You know, simple things from just like brushing your teeth and turning off the faucet is something that I have tried to do. But yes, all in all, I feel like the drought is something we should really take accountability for, because if we don't stop it now, it's just going to continue to get worse, and our generations in the future are going to have to suffer through that, and that's something that I definitely do not want, and I feel like we should all just do my critique now.
Oh, you're very good.
Why don't we start with the positives?
So
Things that you stated really well.
No, it was really good. You knew it. You knew what you said it like you had memorized it because it came from the heart, you know?
yeah.
But can I say what I didn't like?
Why don't we finish all positive feedback first? And then
Why, mine's simple.
I'll just go ahead, we'll do
Yeah.
positive.
I don't know
and
which way you
then
kept
yeah,
twisting like you were
Yeah.
trying to do a twist show or something. That was it. That was it. Oh, yeah, pretty good.
Like this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, we're just.
Or did you want to go?
Oh, let me see. A positive I see in your speech is your use of ethos. Showcasing empathy and being relatable to your viewer.
Yeah, no, I thought you did a great job, just like being consistent with your flow, running through it as it feels like it's like you said, kind of like you memorized it. And I thought it was really good how like they were looking at everyone just on the same page, like freely with it out.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. And then as for me, I do like how you looked at us time to time, but I felt like there's some times where there's a lack of eye contact, but I think it was because you're really focusing on what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
What I also like is that you didn't have to look at the screen, because I'm mostly gonna have to read my notes. So I think it's really cool how you just like went out there and volunteered to go first without having to look at your phone and be like, what was this point again? So I think that was cool. And I liked how you use your own personal experience, such as you reusing the water from dishwashing and then applying that to your water, but to your plants, and as well as including us in your conversation too. And another thing, overall, I think it was really great too. For one thing, but I think it's because like you're very focused on what you're saying, was the exaggeration of hand gestures was a bit distracting to me, but overall, I think it's really good. Thank you.
Yes, very good.
Yeah, I liked how clear you were with your words, and your tone was very good. It was never like dry or monotone.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so
Good.
what is my turn? Yes, so with the positives, your voice tone, the volume was amazing. I mean, I have to tell you. But after that, it was amazing. And the fact that, you know, it was like a really impromptu speech, and you gave it like, you know, it was something that you had worked on before, even though, you know, you had a lot of stops or using the transition or the word from and stuff. But I think overall it was great. You started with the introduction, and then you had the issue, and then you also had the solutions. So this is, I forgot what type of speech this is, but I think it's
Informative.
not informative. I think it's like more like a problem solution speech kind. So where she presented a problem, and then she also gave the solutions to it too.
I didn't know the word was speech problems.
I don't know the exact one, but the title of it, but it's something in that sense. But one thing I would want to say is don't start off with the hand on the back, and then, you know, you could use it this way, you could do it this way, any other way, not in the back. But other than that, it was amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Man, I ain't going next. Because she knew her speech.
Yeah, for real. The rest of us are gonna look at
Yeah, we're
our
gonna
notes.
That's right. No, this is a fun activity.
Okay.
I said, oh,
Just for me, speeches need to, I think, like, when we go out there in the public and start talking about the climate leader, that's gonna come, something that's gonna come natural to me, right? The selling of how we can help. But when I'm put on the spot like this, oh, no, I don't wanna do a speech. No, I'm listening. Oh, no. Come on, you can do it. Emily, you can. Come on. Believe me all day long. But you know, like even though if you're,
Oh my
you
God,
know,
Pat, I don't know anything about what's your topic?
forestry,
I honestly don't know anything about it.
forestry, you know
What is that?
nothing about forestry, you
What
know
is that?
nothing about the Amazon, you know nothing
What's
about
that?
bulldozing, nothing.
Why are
Why do
bulldozing?
people live in this world today and not know of the acres that are bulldozed continuously, day after day, and killing microbes?
Organisms.
Thank you. And climate control. You know, this is the thing with the Amazon. I mean, have you seen them bulldoze it? Have you seen movies on it? These are movies that you should watch because this will tear your heart out. When you see hundreds and hundreds of years of growth that, well, I walked across the Delta campus today, right? And the humidity that came off of the lawn. I was like, oh, I'm so glad I don't have grass in my yard. You know, this Amazon has produced so much climate for us, and now they're bulldozing it. People want to know, why is it heating up? You know, why is our earth heating up? And the bottom line is, when people your age get to my age, where are you going to be with climate control? You know what I mean? So that's the awareness is what we have to look at. Where are you? I mean, you're what, 17 years old or 20 years old? And where are you going to be in almost 50 years? Think about it. Where is this earth today already going down going to be in 50 years? Are you going to bring children in so that in their 50 years, 70 years, they're going to even, those apocalypse movies, everybody's living underground, everything is dirt, they got masks on? On a serious note, if we don't get active and we don't stop doing this and taking those classes in college and protesting Washington and following those politicians and saying, hey, I need to be an active member of repairing our earth. This is what we're here for, our climate leaders, and this is what we need to be active, you know, and this is what we have to say to our neighbors. Stop cutting down stuff. I even have a dead cherry tree. I don't want to kill it. I don't want to cut it down because it's gross, right? Well, part of it is. I'm trying to see what I can graft to it, right? But there's parts of our everyday life that we have to be conscious in caring and producing trees, helping Matt plant trees in our parks. That's it. That's the solution. Here we go.
I'm happy. All right.
That was amazing.
All right, let's go with our feedbacks.
I love the emotion. Oh my gosh, like it really seems like you really do care about everything.
She doesn't seem she does care.
Thank you. That was me, my throat.
You did a good job capturing my attention in
Mhm.
your introduction, because it made me think this is urgent.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, like how you appealed to us and like said us as climate leaders need to do our job in educating the people about bulldozing forestry.
And all like the information, there's a lot of stuff that I didn't know that after hearing you, I like learned about.
Yeah, no, because I thought they were good suggestions, just being like open things that like everyone can do, just talking about like watching certain videos, just being aware, like things were already on so simple stuff. And then I think also there's stuff with the emotion, and then just like being direct with us, like literally making eye contact with us, just straight up just asking like, what do you think? This right now.
Yeah.
So that's good.
To add on to his point of how direct you were, I really love how you were very reflective with us, especially when you're looking at me like 17, 20 years old, like, where do you think you're gonna be in 50 years? And I was really thinking in my head, I was like, I can't tell if I answered her or if I think about it. And I also loved your intense stare. It really like grabbed my attention. It's like, I have to listen to her. So I just really loved how you're very engaged with eye contact, and that despite writing all that, you did not have to look at it.
I think it was amazing, and you know. the
You
tone-
incited it.
The tone, the passion, the emotion, the audience engagement, everything was amazing. Yes. All right. Okay, who's next?
I volunteer.
I
volunteer.
volunteer.
Yep, getting it out. Because these two have not looked at the notes, but I will be the first.
That's
to start.
fine, that's fine.
Yeah, I use your thing too. Hold on. Yeah, my phone. Thank you. Because I'm just like, I'd rather not be the
You
one.
can
looking at
actually
my
hold it
phone.
in your hand, you know.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's fine as long as, I mean, this is like on, impromptu.
You can see
It's
that?
on spot, but
Right.
yeah, it's on spot, so it's
Okay.
fine.
Okay. You can have your water back. Do I actually put this closer to me? Because isn't
No,
this
I
the
think
mine?
it should be good. I remember from our last, whatever session we did with the giant poster board thing.
Oh, yeah.
The
I
audio
was
was.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, so it doesn't matter.
The
Oh.
audio should be good, and if I messed up on the audio, we will figure out another way to get everyone who did not come to participate in public speaking.
Oh, nice. How to submit a video.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say.
But hey, let's get this over with. But hi everyone, my name is Rain Romeo and my topic is transportation. So as you may know, there are many modes of transportation. Otherwise, we would not all be here today. So for example, what modes of transportation did you use to get here today?
Horse and buggy.
Nice.
Car.
Car, me too. Anything else?
Walking.
All cars?
Yeah.
Okay. And basically, there are many modes of transportation, for example, such as walking, cars, train, bus, even ships, etc. But I believe that bikes are the most efficient mode of transportation, other than walking, of course, since walking is free. And it will help to reduce the pollution in our atmosphere, can help with our health, and with cost payments. For example, number one, it is the most cost effective, especially with the price of a single car payment nowadays. For example, according to online car resource called Shift, as of 2021, the average monthly car payment in the US is $575 for new vehicles and $430 for used vehicles. Even used is still at a high price. New car buyers tend to borrow an average of around $34,000, while used buyers need to borrow about $21,000. And compared to buying a well-made bicycle that should outlast most cars, add a few $100s for the rain gear, lights, and accessories for your bikes, it should be well more cheaper compared to the entire cost of a car. In addition to that, the cost of gas nowadays. For example, for those who said they got here by car, how much do you guys have to pay for your gas?
Too much.
Don't ask us.
Yes, and I agree, 30. And for example, my family, we have a GMC Yukon, and its engine is a V8 and it is an SUV. So gas prices tend to be a bit more for that car, for an SUV. For example, for a full tank, my family and I have to pay about $130. And another example is my auntie who lives in LA. LA is already expensive enough as is, and in a 7-Eleven nearby her house in Hacienda Heights, she has to pay $6.24 for gas. So, yikes. But with bikes, you don't have to worry about the constant gas payments. Secondly, for the reduction of pollution, bikes don't have tailpipes that give off poisonous fumes into our atmosphere. They also eliminate the oil, fuel, and hydraulic fluids dropped by automobiles onto our roads, which means by using a bike, there's also less toxic runoff into our local waterways. Not only will using a bike reduce our personal costs, but our city's costs, since they do not have to, since for the city costs that they have to use to reduce the runoff water. And lastly, by using a bike, it can help to improve one's health. The health benefits of a bike includes aerobic exercise as we continue to cycle. And depending on your riding style and your road conditions, you can easily burn 600 calories an hour through bicycling. And most bike commuters report losing 15 to 20 pounds during their first year in the saddle without changing their eating habits. So overall, I believe that bikes are the most efficient mode of transportation due to saving costs, reduction of pollution, and to improve one's health. Thank you.
Amazing.
All right, feedback?
I don't know how you got that kind of information in such a little time. It was amazing. You came up with data and it was like, damn, where'd she get that? How did she search it? You know, what did she put in Google to get that information? Data on transportation? You know what I mean? It was like your brain just kicked in and went into this mode of preparing a speech, unless it was a pre.
No.
I signed you with that.
It was very informative.
Yeah. I think we're having a training session on, right, searching.
Yeah, we'll have a,
Yes.
we'll have a
Oh,
research
yeah.
seminar as well.
But you did pretty good for Johnny on the spot.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I love all the information, so.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's relevant. You sounded very like educated and almost professional on your topic, and your sentence structure was really good, even though you would have a little bit of time. And I like how you stayed engaged, even though you were looking at your phone. It didn't seem like you were like concentrating too much on looking at it. You were just delivering. It was really good.
Thank you. Fake it to make it.
Yeah, definitely same thing. I thought that had gestures were great. I like the body language.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it was an amazing speech. Again, you guys are, your guys' volume, the tone, and, the variation, it's amazing. And this is, on spot, and this is probably your guys' first time. So I think it's really amazing. And, your speech was data-driven, which was logical. And, you started the speech with straight to the point. You didn't have any attention grabber or anything like that, which is fine, because you can start speeches with getting straight to the point. And, you had the audience engagement, and you provided solutions and why it's beneficial and why it's, all the negative aspects of it too. Yeah, so overall, it was like a complete speech, including the data.
All right, who of the final two want to go up?
All right, she's feeling great.
You can just stand right there.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
I should have said that for Rain, but she was already hopping on it.
Oh.
I'll move it.
Okay, mine
She
is
was
not finished.
That's fine.
No, that's okay.
Very-
This year sounds like it's gonna go back.
It's a safe space, and so
Yeah.
whatever you're able to get
Friends, and
through.
we're all sitting in the underwear that we came in.
Okay. Nice to know. All right.
She's like, I love that you're in your underwear.
Okay. Hello, everybody. I am Melanie Smith, and I'm very excited to deliver my very new speech on air. Okay, so no matter where we are, all of us breathe air and use it to live. Sorry. The air we, huh? You can hold on. Okay, yeah. I'm sorry. I'll start over. No matter where we are, all of us breathe air to live. And the air that we put in is always going to be there. So no matter where we are, we're breathing in the air that other people breathe in and breathe out. And whatever's put in it stays there. This can be detrimental to those things. Oh no, sorry. I messed up my sentence. Okay. The air that we breathe in impacts our blood, organs, and overall quality of life because of those things. We depend on not only the air that we breathe in, but the way that our blood uses our air. So whatever is in the air, it impacts our body and our quality of life. So how can we prevent these things in our air from negatively impacting our health? Well, first of all, we have to know what is in our air, right? I'm a climate leader, and I encourage other climate leaders to educate other people on not only what's in our air, but how to avoid breathing in such harmful things, like things from the cars, things from like farms, cows. Yeah, you don't want to breathe in that. And not only that, but what kind of things that are out there that clean the air, such as air vents and humidifiers, air purifiers, all those things. And not only that, but resources to help your body, like such as medication, like an asthma inhaler, to help your body take care of itself after it's been affected by bad air quality. Therefore, I encourage everyone to help not only themselves take better care of their bodies from the air, but educate others on how they can take care of their bodies and how they can avoid detrimenting their health and their quality of life.
That was totally different. So I saw two different people in you. It was like I saw this one person that was shy, but then when you start talking about your subject, you got into it. It was like the passion. It was like a totally informative person. It was like, oh wait, she's doing a speech. You know what I mean? It was like, and I really liked it. And then you giggled and you went back to that shy person, but then you jumped back into your subject.
Oh, yeah, we started over.
Yeah, it was like, this can work,
Mhm.
So that's what I got to say. Very good.
I love, again, all the information. I really like how you kept eye contact, and I feel like, yeah, it was really good. One of my favorite things was like you really had all that information in the middle, and I felt that really kept me like engaged in the speech.
Yeah. No, you can't, you're related.
Yeah. Conflict of interest.
Yeah, no, I got a little the same. I thought it was really good, like to see a little bit of growth, like as you went through your speech. And then I think also just like the energy was really there, so it's easy for us to stay on track.
Mhm. And like, in addition to him saying like us keeping contact with you, I think it was also your charisma that builds up on the way of like, oh, like I really like watching your present. But I really liked your presentation, and despite I feel like you didn't have to look at it as much. I didn't see you look at it like a lot. So I was like, oh, period, I should. And then but I would say the only thing to work on that distracted me was the casual gestures, especially when you put your hands on your side like that. But I think it's because of nervousness from last minute. But other than that, I think it's really good. Thank you.
All right.
And then when you talked about Morgan, I was like,
Oh, she didn't do her feedback. Hold on, sorry. Figure out where you're gonna stand and then she can give the feedback.
All right, so I think, again, you guys did amazing job, and your speech was amazing as well. Again, with you guys' tone, volume, and punctuation, and everything is amazing. But I think you had a lot of like distractions going on. Flipping your hair back and then constantly moving back and forth. And I noticed that you like using your hands, which is not a bad thing. But if you want to use your hand, use them like as if you own the space, and spread them out. Yeah, while you're talking, and that'll help you. And then if you said she did this, right?
Oh, yeah.
So if you want to do that, stand like, like do that where you want to take a pause in the speech and, have a firm stand. Yeah.
right.
All right.
You gotta be by the speaker.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh,
You get a little-
if you can talk loud enough.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
No, see,
Do you think it's the other way?
stand where William is.
No, it's switch. I don't know.
Doing the dance.
Cool. I use my big boy voice now. So my name is Joelian Johnson. We'll be talking about energy today. There was no specifics, so I took this in any direction I wanted to in terms of protecting our energy. So we just want to start off with a little imagination activity. This is something I feel like everyone can do. It's pretty simple. So just like real quick, just like everyone close your eyes. Imagine that you couldn't run anymore. You still have legs. You just couldn't run anymore. Simply couldn't walk out of your bed, and the only thing that you could do for 24 hours out the day was literally just stay in one place. Okay, y'all can open your eyes. How would you feel?
Stuck.
Stuck? What about for y'all?
Lost.
Helpless. Lost. You wouldn't like it, right? Nobody would probably be happy. And so when we talk about protecting our energy, and specifically for us, looking at like more youth age on the younger side, it definitely affects older people too, but having too many adverse experiences will literally change your whole DNA, how it's coded, how it's read. You could go from someone who's just a calm, collected person to someone who's angry literally every hour of the day. And so even with just the simple things that we can do throughout the day, if we were to start working on this, put this into a daily practice instead of just actually talking about it, the body actually is made up of 70% of water. And so that water gets converted into energy. It exhibits in how we interact on a daily basis, whether we're in school, whether we're out at a park. And so while we get older, we tend to forget how much water we drink. And that's not just something that we do on ourselves. Like this is something that's biologically happening. But if we were to actually take care, take interest, and actually look at how much we drink, that's already a life-saving threat right there. You could go from someone who's going to be experiencing early heart attack or early heart failure, kidney disease, to someone who's actually fully healthy, able to go continuously run and play with family on a daily basis. And similar things when we talk about stress management, from someone who's literally allowing anyone to stay on the nerves, right? We think about a day in which we get angry, and maybe in the morning from someone who might have pissed us off on, like, say, cutting us off on the road, or literally just making a turn in front of us and making the rest of the day bad. But that's literally 60 seconds out of 24 hours. And we don't tend to realize that, but we hold grudges longer and we focus that rather than focusing on something simple as just drinking water. And then when we also talk about energy, protecting it for ourselves in the way that we interact with other folks on a simple basis of being a kid or just being friendly out in the park, we don't actually look at things like our diet. So we tend to eat at places like McDonald's just because, like, we work 8 hours a day, we work maybe 2 jobs for some of us. And so that food actually doesn't break down. We end up more tired after eating McDonald's than we were before, which is a crazy part. And so they're just simple things in which our whole basis is on protecting energy in just the smallest ways in which we can exhibit on a practice on a day-to-day basis. That was like an informational kind of persuasive. I feel like I don't really get to research, so that was basically all I had.
You held your prop like you've done this before.
Yeah. I don't trust them too.
I was looking at you like, how does he smile and talk at the same time? And you did. I mean, not everybody can smile and talk at the same time. But you were sitting there smiling and talking at the same time. I was just thrown off because of climate. I was really expecting something on solar. Me too. But you know, the older we get, the more dehydrated we are, because as older people, I don't tend to drink as much water as I need to. Yeah. That kind of water, I'd be up all night.
Funny you brought up the point that we're 70% water and all of a sudden I'm thirsty.
Yeah,
I know. I need some water. I didn't know the water was there. I'm thirsty.
You want to get some water?
We're almost leaving out the door.
All right. Any other feedback?
You had a really good stance the whole time. You didn't you never really changed your posture. You weren't slouching at all. And then if you moved your hands really nice, you were carrying your iPad. It was like really smooth. Like you just let continue talking. It was very professional.
I like the way you took your topic. Like, I really like, I feel like I remember almost everything you said. Like, I really like the part where you were like, 60 seconds, just 60 seconds, you know, still 24 hours. I feel like that was very inspiring.
Yeah, like I like the overall way you presented, not just verbally, but even using your body language. It was one of you too about talking about his stance. It was very professional, in my opinion, and you didn't over exaggerate on your hand, especially compared to me. I went like this a lot, and I felt like you kept it very minimal, but then not like empty where you just stand there. But you kept my attention the majority of the time, and I liked your attention grabber where you started off with the activity where you closed your eyes. You already got my attention, and I really loved your presentation.
Okay, yeah, I think that was amazing. Like when you started and you said my topic's energy, I was like, okay, he's gonna talk about the power, like the other type of energy. But then when I started listening to your speech, I was like, what kind of energy is he talking about? But then it got, you grabbed my attention. I was like, that's interesting. And I was actually listening to the whole speech. And again, as everybody pointed out, that you had great posture, your engagement and the delivery and the attention grabber, everything was amazing.
Yeah,
Alright.
he's taking Toastmasters.
All right, so thank you so much, everyone, for stepping up. It's not easy to come up and speak in front of a group of people.
Thank you for that one.
You're
We had
welcome.
to recognize that factor.
But sometimes you need a little push to get you out of your comfort zone, and especially with the work that you're all going to be doing as climate leaders, you're going to be in situations where you may not be as comfortable as you'd like, but you still are here advocating for the environment, for the climate, and I think most importantly, your communities. And so I just want to give you all a round of applause. And I heard that there was interest in doing another similar sort of activity at the end of the program. And so with that one, I think definitely me and you, Tanisha and Alyssa, we can think of how we can up the stakes just a little bit, because you know why? Because we have about 2 months until the end of the training part of the program. Like your last session is going to be like August something. So that's plenty of time for you to get yourselves comfortable and develop your skills. One thing I will say as you leave today is if you want to continue public speaking, I definitely recommend practicing either in front of a mirror or just recording yourself and see what you're able to accomplish. And are you able to convince yourself that what you're saying is persuasive?
We have a Toastmasters here in town.
Or if you want to be like Pat and go join a Toastmasters.
It's really good. It's really cool.
I did Toastmasters in Sacramento. So it's a public speaking club.
Yeah,
I'll
it's a
Pat-
club.
um,
You learn the proper ways of speaking, props, standing, not looking. I mean, almost everything she was teaching is what you learn, but you also learn like these damn people. Every time you say or so, you hear this ding, ding, ding. You're like, some get 1 or 2 dings and somebody get 20 dings, but you get conscious of not take a breath instead of saying
allow yourself those pauses.
Yeah, it's really good. It's a way of teaching, but and it's not expensive. I can get you guys the information.
Yeah, and then for the last speech, you guys can present the topic again, and kind of format it a bit better.
Okay.
Or you guys can choose a topic of your choice that is related to what we're teaching you, and then present on that. And you guys can start at it right now, and then that way you have plenty of time to think about the topic and what you want to say, the information you want to include, and and then you can practice speaking.
And also you rely on each other. If you, for example, want to go to Toastmasters together, you're a little nervous or something, you're like, I don't want to go by myself. You all have each other's contact information in some capacity. So reach out and say, hey, I want to go to Toastmasters with you, or hey, you want to do a little public speaking practice together, or hey, I wrote the speech, can you listen to me? Rely on each other for the research. And also me and Alyssa and Tanisha as well. We're here to ensure that you can feel confident going out into the community and being able to be the climate leaders that I know you all have. Not just the potential, you're already showing it, but to really excel and demonstrate to the community what you have.
And there's always YouTube if you guys don't want to go to Toastmaster, and you guys can, get together with each other. And
or
then,
you can be on TikTok. So, so It's 6:26, so I don't want to hold you up too long. So any questions for any of us before we conclude?
No, but I did do the Vamos, you know, the app.
Nice.
Oh,
And it's something to think about, you know. Yep.
so that's actually something we're thinking about too, in terms of like looking at what the next round.
So
of
I have this
season looks like.
question.
Do we want the folks on the
No.
line? Okay, so then let's hold off for any other additional like logistical questions for our program before we get into your question. Oh, right, we have our question of the day, or our question. So if you paid attention to the sixth, and I think this is really great because we actually never showed our faces on this. Remember that I wore a pink shirt today because today is what? Wednesdays, and on Wednesdays we wear pink. Mean Girls. So Mean Girls is a gay movie. So that's your question. I'll make sure to get you your surveys and the recordings out tomorrow. And as best as I can, obviously we have to deal with technology. But if there's no other questions, make sure if you haven't yet, please submit your invoices. Because yeah, you guys want to get paid. So remember, get your invoices in. All right, thanks so much, everyone.
Do you want these back? The first one? No.